we've got 6 people here from different parts of the world. So I'm going to ask each of you guys, what does an independent film mean to you? How would you define an independent film?
For us, it's the classic definition. Anything outside the studio system is usually classified as an independent film. We look at kind of original works that perhaps can't work within the system itself.
I agree with Raja in terms of the clean definition, the kind of old school definition of anything outside of the majors. However, I think given the way that the global film business is changing and the industry is changing, I think we need to look beyond the old definition. The definition of exactly what an independent film is developing along with the market itself.
Absolutely what my fellow panelists, all three, have had to say so far. In addition to the fact that I believe once a director or producer, especially an unknown director and producer, retains final cut on the finished product, and that for me constitutes it being independent as well.
For me, it breaks into kind of 3 categories. A total independent movie would be financed and then distributed by companies not associated with a major studio. And a completely non-independent movie would be a studio movie that's financed by a studio and distributed by a studio. And for the last 2 or 3 years, I've been focusing right in the middle of those 2 things, which are movies that are financed independently and largely out of the international market, which I guess we'll get to soon, but then distributed domestically by a studio and internationally by an independent film company.
I can agree on that because it's another point of view. And for me, a definition would be an independent film is a film where we have a unique voice of one author, one director, who wants to express and to tell a story in a way. And this film can be financed in, let's say, in a national way, or it can be financed in an international way. But important is that it is the dream and the voice of one or 2 creative persons behind it, and it's not a concept film.
What are some of the key elements that independent producers need to keep in mind to see their project come into fruition?
Number 1, good story, good screenplay, a talented director, a vision, something that's fresh, something that's original, something that has a market. Before you worry about the budget, before you worry about the appeal, before you worry about the marketing campaign, does this film have a compelling cultural or commercial reason to exist? The crucial element is, why does the film need to exist? Either culturally or commercially. And if you have a compelling argument, then you proceed onto the actual nuts and bolts of getting it made.
And it's not a shame to have a film that is good on the local market. It's good. After, sometimes you've got pretty good scripts with good concept. They are suitable for international market, and in that case, you can settle pre-sales, sign with an international sales agent, because it's suitable for. But do not try to do that if your target finally is local.
I do think they need to be as authentic as possible. Plus, they need to think about their audiences. Why is it that an 18-year-old Arab kid, whether in Beirut or in Dubai or Abu Dhabi or Doha or wherever it is, would go see an average action movie from Hollywood, but would not go see an above-average Arab movie that actually says something about a shared experience and that they could relate to? Now, why is that? I mean, that's a question we need to ask and try and answer. And the reason is, again, it's a combination of marketing. It's a combination of awareness. You know, why do Arabs go see Egyptian films? Because they're used to the dialect. They've had a century of Egyptian cinema. It's on their TV, it's their TV shows. It's everywhere.
I thought in terms of a successful film, what Tarek was talking about this morning when he said, film and media it's more important than money and the bottom line, but it's about communicating it's a way to communicate very quickly and simply to the world about different cultures and to create more understanding between cultures. If a film could do that, I would say that would be the most successful.
One thing I can add is to give you an idea about what the importance of cultural or what cultural identity has in filmmaking is when you look to the German box office charts, the cinema charts, and that's for me also something which is very interesting. You will find among the top 100 films in Germany every week, at least I would say 4 to 5 films where I'm not able to pronounce the title. Because these are films in Turkish language for the Turkish people living in Germany who have a huge desire of seeing Turkish films in the German cinema. And this was a development which started only 5 years ago when they started to release Turkish films in German cinemas, and they were tremendously successful. And to add the third thing, which is interesting for me as well, that the most successful German film in the last years, so to say, was an American film, Inglourious Bastards, which was almost shot to 80% in Germany, financed with 50% out of Germany, dealing with German history somehow. And so I think that this is to illustrate how the mixture of cultures and everything like that goes on. And I'm sure that for Arab-speaking films, there is a huge interest in the world, because this is not a minor language which is not spoken anywhere. This is one of the bigger languages, and so I think the chance to attract huge audiences with Arab-speaking film is there. You have to take the chance in a way, and you have to work on that.